Thank you so much. Very good evening, participants. Welcome to today's webinar on advertisements under RERA and adherence to sanctioned plans. Thank you for joining us. I am truly honored to introduce our speaker for today, Advocate E. Suhail Ahmed. Let me share a bit about Sir's vast experience and contributions. He is partner at Trialbase and distinguished law firm in Bengaluru, as well as partner at Smriti Legal LLP, specializing in RERA, litigation and advisory services. Currently, he serves as a principal legal consultant for RERA Consultants LLP, advising on RERA related matters across Karnataka, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu. With an impressive 23 years of experience in property law, he is well regarded for his deep knowledge in property, corporate, and civil laws. Suhail sir has also held key positions such as former chairman of the legal committee and member of the core committee at National Real Estate Nehru Center for Advanced Scientific Research. He is governing council member of Naredco, Karnataka, and currently serves as president of the L&T Raintree Boulevard Apartment Owners Association, a community of 2,240 apartments. A passionate advocate of the Real Estate Regulation and Development Act 2016, Suhail sir has worked tirelessly to spread awareness of RERA across southern India and has conducted workshops for organizations such as Telangana Real Estate Regulator Authority, Naredco Karnataka, Kradai Mysore, and others. He has been a Rotarian for the past 14 years and is a member of Rotary Raj Mahal Vilas in Bengaluru. With over 2 decades in real estate, law, and dedicated focus on RERA since 2016, he advises promoters, consumers, and apartment owners associations across the southern state. Without further delay, please join me in welcoming Suhail sir to take us through this insightful session. Suhail sir, over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Vishwas. Please let me share. I'm not able to switch on the video. Okay. Something is Zoom it not responding. Don't send. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm not able to. Okay. I'm having some bit of a trouble. I'm not able to share. Just wait for a moment, please. Yeah, Zoom is not responding to that. Wait for program to respond. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Vishwas, for the introduction. Just give me a moment. So, continuing with the tradition of having a webinar every month, today's webinar, which we are conducting, will be on advertisements under RERA and adherence to sanction plans. Now, we have come about 8 years into RERA now, and the act as such, of course, when it was introduced, basically it was to be a regulatory mechanism and was also development. But with the intricacies in the industry growing by the day, we are seeing a lot of complaints being filed in respect of seeking refunds from the promoters, and also the complaints relating to violation of sanction plans, and also the authority taking action under the act under the act for violation of the provisions of the act as relating to advertisements. Now, in order to apprise you as to what advertisements under RERA mean and what are the relevant provisions, and also what adherence to sanction plans means, and also what are the legal remedies that are available for allottees under the act, and how, as a promoter, what is required to be done and what should not be done. That's what I'll be covering today. So, going further, the topics that I will be covering today are objects of RERA, because it is important in view of objects of RERA, how advertisement and the adherence to sanction plan becomes important. Some of the important definitions before as relating to the advertisements, then veracity of advertisements, that is section 12. Prior registration of projects, how that is related to advertisements, I'll be talking about that. The penalty for advertising without registration, when and how penalty can be levied, and what can be deemed to be an advertisement, and what is mandated in an advertisement under the act, and also by way of circulars. Of course, various circulars are issued. I'll be discussing the circular issued by the RERA Karnataka. And advertisement for a project, what it is, and advertisement by a channel partner, how a channel partner has to advertise, a channel partner or a real estate agent. Then next, as regards the adherence to sanction plan, how is a sanction plan defined under the act? Then section 14, which is adherence to sanction plans, relevant clauses in the agreement for sale, which is notified under the act, and then the legal remedies. These are the topics that I'll be covering. If anyone has any questions, you can raise your hand. I'd rather have you ask the question than seeing it at the end in the chat. If you have any questions, you can ask me any questions. And Vishwas, if you can ask, if there is somebody posting in the chat, you can read the question and ask me the question.
Yes, sir. Definitely, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
So let's get to objects of RERA. Why this is important is that what is the object with which the act was enacted, and how it applies to adherence to advertisement, veracity of advertisement, and adherence to sanction plan. So along with everything that is there, the second one is to ensure sale of plot, apartment, or building in an efficient and transparent manner. So this is the most important aspect in respect of these two topics for the day, that is the advertisement and adherence to sanction plan. What the act expects to set or achieve is transparency. So which means transparency in terms of the advertisements that are carried out, and transparency in the manner that a promoter obtains the sanctions and adheres to those while delivering the apartment after having entered into an agreement. So in all of these objects, what it aims to achieve through the veracity of advertisement and adherence to sanction plan is a transparency as regards the allottees are concerned. And then the next is to protect the interest of consumers in the real estate sector. To a certain extent, this also protects both these topics for the day, aims to protect the interest of the consumer. So let's see how the definitions are. Okay, so let's go to the definition of an advertisement. So section 2B deals with the definition of the advertisement. It means any documents described or issued as an advertisement through any medium. So what you have to understand is a document described or issued as an advertisement through any medium. It also includes any notice, circular, other documents, or publicity in any form. What that should do is informing persons about a real estate project or offering for sale of a plot, apartment, or building, or inviting persons to purchase in any manner. So what is an advertisement under RERA? It is a document issued through any medium informing persons about a real estate project. It could also be a hoarding outside the project where you are saying upcoming project. Whether it's a commercial project or a residential project, upcoming project, giving details of the project. So that is an information. Of course, there may not be an offer to sell there because you've just put up a hoarding saying that this is an apartment building to come up there. So even that will be deemed as an advertisement. The next is offering for sale of a plot, apartment, or building, or inviting persons to purchase. So even if it's a mere, let's say that an upcoming project, you are sending a bulk SMS saying that this is an upcoming project coming up here. This is the price, and these are the various sizes of the plots or apartments that are available. Even if you send an SMS, that will be deemed to be an advertisement under the Act. So because by virtue of this definition, literally everything that a promoter does in respect of a real estate project in any manner can be deemed to be an advertisement. Now, let's look at the provision of law under which how the veracity of advertisements or what advertisements should contain becomes relevant. Section 12 deals with the obligations of a promoter regarding veracity of the advertisement or prospectus. The name of the section itself says enough about the section, which means that if the veracity of the advertisement, which means that an advertisement that is issued in respect of a real estate project by a promoter should be a true statement and should not contain anything which is misleading. Now let's see what the section says about this. When any person makes an advance or a deposit on the basis of the information contained in the notice, advertisement, or prospectus, or on the basis of any model apartment, plot, or building, as the case may be, and sustains any loss or damage by reason of any incorrect, false statement including therein, he shall be compensated by the promoter in the manner as provided under this Act. Now, what does it say? That if a person advances to purchase an apartment, building, or a plot on the base after seeing an advertisement which is issued by a promoter, or by seeing a model apartment, plot, or building. So it could be the brochure, it could be a walkthrough, it could be, I will be discussing what are the kind of, it could be anything on the basis of information contained therein. Let's say in a prospectus or in a brochure, it is written that it is 5 kilometers from a particular school or 10 minutes to the school. On the basis of that information, if a particular allottee purchases the apartment and then later on realizes that that was an incorrect statement, or anything else that is stated is incorrect, the promoter, the allottee gets a right to seek to be compensated. Now, what is the compensation that is in the proviso? If the person affected by such incorrect false statement contained in the notice, advertisement or prospectus, or the model apartment, plot or building, as the case may be, intends to withdraw from the project, he shall be returned his entire investment along with interest at such rate as may be prescribed, and the compensation in the manner provided under this act. So, if an allottee finds that an incorrect statement has been made in an advertisement, an incorrect statement could be relating to the dimensions of the apartment, it could be relating to the specifications of construction, it could be relating to the amenities and facilities that are provided, it could be anything which at a later date is found to be false or incorrect. It is the option of the allottee to seek for a refund. At his option, he could seek to, if he seeks to withdraw from the project, saying that it was advertised like this, and now what is being delivered is something else, so I would want to withdraw. At that point of time, the promoter would have to refund the money along with interest. In addition to that, an allottee also gets a right to be compensated as provided under the Act. While we discuss the legal remedies, I'll take you through how compensation can be sought for. So this is what is the provision of law as regards the advertisement, as regards the veracity of advertisement. So which gets us to the point in terms of what a promoter should do in case of advertising a project. First and foremost, all the details that are given in the project should be the exact and correct details. No statement which should be made, which should be more than what is actually being given. I'll discuss that as we go further. Now, prior registration and marketing of projects, how advertisement is also related to the registration of a project. Section 3.1 says that 3.1 requires that all promoters register the project it's a prior registration of a real estate project, which says that no promoter shall advertise, market, book, sell, or offer for sale, or invite persons to purchase in any manner any of the plot. So, without registering a project, a promoter cannot advertise, market, book, or sell. So, what can be an advertisement? We have seen in many cases where advertisements are carried out by promoters even before registration. It could be a soft launch, it could be a pre-launch, it could be a hoarding, it could be a newspaper advertisement. We have seen in many cases that some of the promoters, without knowing the effect or the penal provisions under RERA, may have carried out advertisements even before registration. And the authority has caused notice. Many other authorities, of course, in Karnataka it is not, but all other authorities, Karnataka is doing it, Tamil Nadu is doing it. Of course, Maharashtra has done it extensively right from the beginning, and huge penalties have been levied. So, a promoter before registering the project cannot advertise. It cannot even put up a hoarding outside the project saying that this is an upcoming project and of this nature. So what is essential for a promoter? Firstly, a promoter should not make an incorrect statement in an advertisement, and that advertisement can only be taken out after the project is registered under Section 3, and once only the registration is granted. A project cannot even be registered after filing an application for registration until the registration is granted and registration certificate is obtained. Till such time, a project cannot be advertised. I'll deal with some of the intricacies as we go further. So what is the penalty for advertising without registration? So Section 59 prescribes what is the punishment for non-registration under Section 13. So if a promoter advertises a project It could even be a small classified ad in any newspaper, because some of the authorities are looking into the newspapers and issuing notices on the basis of the advertisements that are being carried out by promoters without registration. So even if it's a small advertisement that is carried out, if the promoter contravenes the provisions of Section 3, which requires prior registration of a real estate project, he shall be liable to a penalty which may extend up to 10% of the estimated cost of the real estate project as determined by the authority. So earlier occasions, we have seen that penalties of the maximum penalty that we have seen is about 1% of the estimated cost of the project. In cases where the estimated cost of the project, let's say it's 100 crores, then the penalty that can be levied is 1% of 100 crores, so which becomes 1 crore. So we have seen penalties of 50, 60, 70 lakhs being levied, and also smaller penalties of 1 lakh, 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs. It depends on which authorities, which is the authority, which is the state. In Karnataka, there has not been much. Telangana, of late, I have seen some penalties being levied. Maharashtra, it has already levied penalties. In Tamil Nadu, the penalties are quite nominal in nature, in the sense that it is 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs, 4 lakhs is that kind of a penalty. But otherwise, the Act prescribes a 10% penalty of the estimated cost of the project. So next is to take it further, what can be deemed to be an advertising for the authority for the purpose of Section 12 as well as Section 3 or Section 59 for the authority to say that the provisions of the Section 3 have been violated for a levy of penalty under Section 59. A pre-launch or a launch, whatever you may call it, if you launch the project and if you invite people to either come to the site to see the project, or if you launch it, let's say you carry out a launch in some other place where you talk about the project, that can also be deemed to be an advertising. Publication of a brochure, because in a brochure, even if it's a small leaflet which is printed and circulated for even if it's for a basic expression of interest, then it can be deemed to be an advertising. Through the websites of the promoters, you cannot even say that our upcoming projects, you cannot even say that and have a separate page for a particular project which is not yet registered. So even if you say our upcoming project on your website and give details of the project, apartment project, proposed so and so, or whatever be the project, even if you do that on a website, that will be deemed as an advertisement. Newspaper advertisements, either giving details of the project distinctly, or we have seen that let's say a promoter has 8 or 10 projects. So the list of all the projects with basic locations will be given, and with a generic that layout projects available at all these locations. So if any of those locations, if there is no registration of such a project, then the authority can take action. We have seen that being done in one of the state, where multiple projects of a promoter which were advertised, of which of the 8 projects, 3 were registered, 5 were not registered. So then the authority issued a show cause notice and then has levied penalty. So even in newspaper advertisements are issued, if it's a single project also or multiple projects, however it is issued, it will be deemed as an advertisement. Even if you say calling for investments in these projects at these locations, it will be deemed as an advertisement and an offer to sell, and then authority can take action. Emails, if you are sending bulk emails to your existing clients or to somebody outside, even that will be deemed as an advertisement. Radio advertisements on FM channels, if you are advertising for a particular project, and if the offer is to either to invest in a project or purchase in a project, whatever it is, it will be deemed as a advertisement. Video walkthrough, which can be circulated through WhatsApp, or if you are uploading it either on Instagram, YouTube, or any other social medias. So even that will be deemed as an advertisement. And if project registration details are not given, even then it will be deemed as an offense. Microsites of channel partners. What we have seen is that the moment, if it's a prominent promoter or a promoter of good standing, the moment the channel partners get to know that a project is being launched either through the RERA websites or through any other channels, including the invites that are given by promoters to the channel partners to update them of the projects that are upcoming projects. These channel partners go create micro websites and start advertising for projects. And we have seen in multiple cases that the authority has pulled up promoters to say that how did you allow these advertisements to appear? How did you allow these microsites to come up? So that is when the authorities have found out that the channel partners have been invited by these promoters, and then they are given details about the projects. That is when these channel partners have gone back, created microsites, asking for interest in the or advertising the project. So even microsites of channel partners, it may not be hosted by the promoter, but it will look like these microsites look like as though they are advertisements of the promoters. So many a times we have seen promoters getting into trouble because of these microsites. Then, of course, the model apartment, which is there in the project, the model apartment is also deemed to be an advertisement. And I don't know if I'm... So a model apartment, of course, it is deemed as an advertisement. And a model, if you're showing a model apartment to an allotee, what has to be done and not to be done, I'll be discussing it further. But even having a model apartment and showing it to any allotee saying that this is how the apartment is going to look is also deemed to be an advertisement. You do an SMS campaign or a WhatsApp campaign, that will also be deemed as a advertisement under the act. And if you ask your existing customers, like you have one project in phase 1 and then the phase 2, you are asking your existing customers in phase 1 to either buy in this phase 2 or to refer friends and family. So that will be also deemed as an advertisement. Of course, unless this thing reaches into a disputed state, the authority may not come to know. But however, that will also be deemed as an advertisement. So all of these things, so if you see practically any medium that is used for advertising a project, it will be deemed as an advertisement. Either it could fall in the under section 12, which deals with the veracity of advertisement, or under section 3 to say that a promoter is either advertising before the registration of the project or after the registration of the project. So hence, anything that is done in relation to a project, when it comes to advertising, a promoter has to take care. And if it is an allotee, then an allotee has to see the advertisement, what is being offered, and what are the specifications, what is there, either in terms of a print or whatever, if it's a video walkthrough, what is being shown. So all of that has to be seen even by an allotee. Next is what is mandated in an advertisement, how a promoter should carry out an advertisement. This is given in section 11, subsection 2. The advertisement or prospectus issued or published by the promoter shall mention prominently the website address of the authority, wherein all details of the registered project have been entered, and include the registration number obtained from the authority and such other matters incidental thereto. So the act prescribes that in any advertisement, we have seen in the of course in the radio ads, at the end they say it's a RERA registered project. In the newspaper advertisements, we have seen the RERA registration number. What the act prescribes is that along with the registration number, the website address also should be given. How it is to be given is in the circulars that is issued. This is the circular issued by government of the RERA Karnataka. Similarly, I know that AP has also issued and Maharashtra has issued, and I'm not sure whether Telangana and Kerala have issued. So if you see this circular, at the bottom, one moment. So while releasing advertisement in the first page of the circular at the bottom, while releasing advertisements of projects on print media, outdoor hoardings or FM radio, and through SMS or other electronic media, the following have to be mentioned. Advertisement of real estate project in the print media on other hoardings, so and so medium, the registration number should be issued by the authority, should be of course should be displayed on the right hand side corner of the advertisement. So if it's a brochure, if it's a newspaper ad or any other ad, it should be on the right hand top corner of the advertisement. What should be the size? The size of the lettering and number used for this shall not be less than half of the font used for the name of the project in the said advertisement. So if it's a print ad, then if the name of the project is using, let's say, the font size is 30, the registration number and the website address should be of 15. That should be the font size. This is the circular issued by the Karnataka RERA. Similar circulars have also been issued by other authorities. So this can be taken as the standard with which the advertisements are issued, should be issued. However, we see that authorities are not strictly implementing this in terms of strictly saying that they're not getting into measuring the font size. But however, I can say that the authorities certainly look at whether at least the bare minimum that has to be done is displaying the registration number of a project. That should be done. Mostly there is no space to put the website address. However, the Act mandates that the website address where the registration is visible should also be added. So essentially, the registration number as well as the website address of the particular state should also be mentioned should also find it itself in the print ad. In case of advertisements on the FM radio or electronic media and SMS, the registration number issued by authority shall be prominently mentioned, which is there in clause E of this circular. So in FM radio, of course, at the earliest point of time, as I remember, the entire registration or the registration number in brief used to be mentioned. However, now only it says that RERA registered. It is a RERA registered project. Though, of course, we have not seen any of the authorities taking action in respect of a FM ad. But other electronic media, it could be on Instagram or it could be on a Facebook or any other, or on YouTube. It is essential that the registration number be mentioned and it should be visible and it should be prominent. Then next, in a brochure, generally, there is a disclaimer to say that artistic impression only, and also towards the end, a disclaimer is given that this shall not be I forget the words, to say that it is not a legal offering. However, I'd like to say that an artistic impression, of course, the artistic impression could be that of the type of an apartment or the layout of the apartment. But if you get into the basics or the specifications, let's say that you are showing a podium area, it cannot show something which is actually not going to be delivered. Let's say the podium that is being shown in the advertisement is a huge one and in an oval shape. but what actually is going to be delivered is not the entire oval, but half of it. So if an advertisement of such a nature is issued based on which an allottee purchases an apartment, then the allottee will get a right to go under Section 12 and seek for a refund, saying that what has been shown in the brochure is, though it may read that it is only an artistic impression, and in the end it cannot be taken as a legal offering. In spite of all those disclaimers being given, the allottee will get a right, because those disclaimers in a proceeding before RERA have absolutely no bearing whatsoever, because the circular also does not recognize it, and the act also doesn't recognize it. So what in terms of advertisements for a project, what should be taken into consideration by a promoter while advertising? The registration should be planned and executed properly by considering all factors, including the amenities and facilities, because while you are making an advertisement, all these have to be taken into consideration, whether you are going to register in phases and which phase where the amenity and facility is going to come. The location of common areas, particularly the amenities and facilities, to be properly stated in an advertisement. If it's a brochure, you have a list of 40 or 20 amenities or 10 amenities, where these are going to come, what is going to be there, how it is going to be, that has to be properly stated. If the project is a phase-wise project, and if the amenities are planned in a particular phase, it should be distinctly specified in all the advertisement and also in the agreement. Because if you are, let's say you are developing the project in 4 phases, and all the amenities will come only along with the phase 2, and there are 2 different delivery dates for phase 1 and phase 2. So for the people who are purchasing into phase 1, you should tell them that all the amenities will come in phase 2, and it will be delivered at a later point of time. And also the document also should speak, the advertisement should also speak that the common amenities and facilities will be common for all the 4 phases. We have cases where the phase 1 people are not allowing phase 2 to use it, or vice versa, or a subsequent phase where another improved facility comes up, the phase 1 people won't be allowed. So all these things will be there. So care has to be taken while conceiving the project, registering the project, and advertising the project, to say where these amenities and facilities will come and how the allottees can use these amenities and facilities. The list of amenities and facilities to be specified correctly. The total list, you should not give more, less. Even if a careless mention of a facility which is to be provided at a later point of time, if a promoter finds that there is no space to provide that amenity and facility, then in all probability, if a complaint that is filed, the promoter may become liable to pay compensation, saying that this amenity was promised, however, is not delivered. Like I said, the date on which the amenities will be completed to be properly given in case of phase wise. The specifications of the apartment, plot, or building to be given correctly. In case of an apartment, the specifications, what are the tiles that are going to be used, what are the sanitary fittings, plumbing fittings, and all of this to be mentioned correctly, as precisely as you can be delivered, should be mentioned in the advertisement. Similarly, the specifications of fittings and fixtures, the location of the property of project also to be given correctly, in the sense that if on a brochure you are showing a 2-way road in front of the project, while it's only a service road that is actually there in the project, at a later point of time, even though the allottee may have visited the project and seen the project, on the basis of that brochure, at a later date, the allottee can go before the authority and file a complaint, saying that in the brochure they showed me a double road, and they said that this double road is going to come up at a later point of time, while they said that there is now only a small service road. Based on that alone, the allottee can ask for compensation. So that's how minute it can get. So while the location of the property should be very precise, it should not say 10 minutes to the airport while it is actually half an hour to the airport. If you say 10 minutes in ideal conditions, you should say in ideal conditions with less traffic. So as precise and as detailed, or the attention to detail should be there while also looking at the location and everything else. The finish is proposed to be stated correctly. Let's say that you have a video walkthrough where the lobby you are showing Italian marble while you are finishing it with you are showing white Italian marble or off-white Italian marble while you finish it with a black granite or something else. The walkthrough will give the right to an allotee to say that what was shown to me in the walkthrough was Italian marble of this color while it is being finished, while it has been finished with a granite. So then allotee gets a right to go back and say that what is promised has not been delivered. So ask for either to be compensated or for the entire granite to be removed and then redone with Italian marble. So next is the model apartment. It should be an exact replica of what is proposed to be delivered. Let's say it is one of the types of the three types, one type. It should be an exact replica, and also ensure that a declaration be displayed at the model apartment at the entrance to state what will not be part of the standard offering, that is the furniture, furnishings, interior decoration, etc. So it should be an exact replica in the sense that the height, if the height of the roof is going to be at 10 feet, it should be a 10 feet height. It cannot look like, it cannot be made at 11 feet and make it look bigger. If the tiles either in the kitchen or in the bathroom are going to be anti-skid tiles or glazed tiles, whatever it is, it should be the same thing. As minute as what is the joint between the tiles, it should be the exact thing what you're going to replicate while what is going to be replicated in the construction. It can also be that that the room size, let's say you have there is a puja room in the model apartment. Even if you increase it by 6 inches, it looks slightly bigger, and it will give the impression to an allotee that it is slightly bigger. It is of an adequate size. So you cannot do that. So it has to be exact replica with the same measurements, same specifications, same height. Everything should be the same. And as much as possible, a declaration to be displayed at the entrance to say that what will not be, because a model apartment is always furnished. There are fixtures, furnitures. So you will have the allottees taking videos, taking pictures of everything. And then tomorrow they should not come back and say that we thought this is going to be part of it. It could be as simple as one of the interior items, which basically look like it will be part of the apartment. So care should be taken to have a declaration at the entrance, or a signed declaration from an allotee saying that this is only a model apartment. What is being offered will be not the same, and it will be bereft of all the furniture and everything else. So coming to the advertisement by a channel partner or a real estate agent. Section 10 deals with the functions of real estate agent, and it says that one, of course, a real estate agent cannot promote a project which is not registered under the Act. And it also mandates that a real estate agent should not involve himself in unfair trade practices, of which one of the unfair trade practices is makes a false or misleading representation concerning the services, or permitting the publication of any advertisement, whether in any newspaper or otherwise, of services that are not intended to be offered. So even a duty is cast on the channel partner to not overstate anything regarding the project, and to ensure that only what is offered by a promoter is only advertised. So when it comes to channel partners, it is the duty of the promoters to ensure that they are informed properly about the project, and as much as possible a training session to be conducted by the promoter for the channel partners, taking them right through the title of the property to what is the project that is being delivered, what are the expected timelines, what is the stage wise schedule for completion, when is it likely to be completed, and what are the do's and don'ts in respect of what they should do and what they should not do. And if possible, a promoter should take an undertaking from them while onboarding and during closing of sales to this effect, that the channel partner has only sold the apartment, or be it an apartment, plot, villa, whatever it is, that by stating only what has been told by the promoter to the channel partner, and not by over promising them of saying that there is going to be something more than what actually the promoter, they cannot say that, sir, the project end date is 2028. It's okay. I know the promoter is going to finish it in 2026. Please buy it. Or any statement where stating that this particular amenity and facility is not there. He cannot say that, sir, I know that the promoter is going to do this. It is not there in the brochure, but you can buy and it will be there. Like, let's say that somebody wants a thermal pool. The channel partner cannot go and promise the allottee saying that, sir, there is another small clubhouse that is proposed where the thermal pool is going to come. You can buy this and this is the location. So these kind of things cannot be made. So a promoter should also ensure that either while onboarding or at the closing of the sales, channel partners declares that only information what is relevant to the project is given. A channel partner advertising a project in another country should also ensure that the mandates are followed. Of course, the registration of that particular channel partner should be in that particular state, and then that particular promoter, if he is advertising in any other country, there also the mandate should be followed. Next is coming to definition of sanction plans. Why it is relevant to understand what is sanction plans is the adherence to sanction plans deals. It becomes necessary to understand the definition of sanction plans. It includes all plans like building plan, service plan, parking, and it also includes applicable permissions such as environment permission and such other permissions. If you see, it could be a development plan, it could be a building plan, it could be a layout plan, it could be sanctions from the Pollution Control Board, it could be sanctions from the Ministry of Environment, it could be sanctions from the state level environmental authority, it could be permission from the electricity department, it could be permission from the fire department, it could be permission from the water and sewerage board. So the definition of the sanction plan encompasses all the plans that are obtained from the competent authority for a particular project prior to start of a real estate project. So before the real estate project starts, whatever sanctions are obtained are called as sanction plans. Now let's see how this is relevant when it comes to adherence to sanction plans and project specifications. Section 14 speaks of adherence to sanction plans and project specifications by a promoter. So a project should be developed and completed by the promoter as per the sanction plans. So we know now what are sanction plans. So the next is notwithstanding anything contained in any law, contract or agreement. So what does I'll pause here for a moment. So let's say that a promoter has taken all the sanctions, registered the project, and made the allotments. In the agreement, the promoter says that I have already modified, or I am going to modify the development plan and the building plan at a later stage to accommodate something else. Now, whether the writing of that in the agreement is permissible, that is what it is not permissible, because the particular section says that notwithstanding anything contained in any law, contract or agreement after the sanction plans, layout plans, also of the nature, so as the case may be, as approved by the competent authority, are disclosed or furnished to the persons who agree to take one or more of the said apartment, plot or building, as the case may be, the promoter shall not make, once it is disclosed, and notwithstanding anything in any agreement, contract, or law, the promoter shall not make any additions or alterations in the sanctioned layout plan, so and so, therein in respect of the apartment plot or building. If it is only in respect of the particular apartment plot or building, which are agreed to be taken without the previous consent of that person. If it is limited to that apartment, then only the consent of that particular allottee needs to be taken. And next is the proviso, provided that the promoter may make such minor additions or alterations as may be required by the allottee. If the allottee is asking, let's say that there is a utility, the allottee is asking the utility to be merged with the kitchen. So when the allottee wants that change to be made, that change can be made, or such other minor changes or alterations as may be necessary due to architectural or structural reasons, which is duly recommended and verified. So when the allottee asks for it, or if it is required on account of any architectural or structural reasons, then the change can be made, but that also with the consent of that person, that is that allottee of the apartment. So, however, the minor additions or alterations, it excludes structural change, including an addition to the area or change in the height or removal of part of a building or change to the structure. So the minor changes should fall within the ambit of this. Now, what about the other changes? Any other alterations or additions in the sanction plans, layout plans, and specification of the building or the common areas within the project without the previous written consent of at least 2/3 of the allottees. So when it comes to major additions or alterations, it also in addition to the sanction plans, it also includes common areas. So let's say a clubhouse is of a particular size is planned in some place. At a later date, the promoter wants to modify the plan and change the location of the common areas. It could be the clubhouse or it could be any other facility. That change cannot be done without taking consent of 2/3 of the allottees as on that date when the modification is proposed. It's not a subsequent event that once you modify the plan and then you take the consent of 2/3 allottees. It's a consent which has to be taken prior to seeking for the modification. So minor modifications, the consent has to be taken from the particular allottee. In case of a major modification, the consent of 2/3 of the allottees have to be taken. So we do find clauses in all the sale agreements which are notified under the rules of almost all the authorities. In Karnataka, clause 1.6 states that the promoter shall not make any additions or alterations in the sanction plans. And it also further says that provided that the promoter may make such minor additions or alterations as may be required by the allottee, or such minor changes or alterations as per the provisions of the Act. So here there is a undertaking by the promoter that it shall not make any additions or alterations in the sanction plans without the then as regards when it comes to development of the project or the apartment, again here there is a undertaking by the promoter that no changes shall be made, and that in case any modification is done, it shall amount to material breach of the agreement. What is the legal remedy available to an allottee with regard to veracity of an advertisement or with regard to adherence to sanction plans or violation of these two sections? So the section 71 deals with the power of adjudication of compensation. So for the purpose of adjudging compensation under sections 12, 14, 18, and 19. So this is where the reference to the reliefs that can be sought for under particularly sections 12 and 14, which we are discussing today. For the purpose of adjudging the compensation, adjudicating officer can be appointed, and how it has to be, the adjudicating officer has to be appointed is prescribed under section 71. Under section 31, the any aggrieved person may file a complaint with the authority or the adjudicating officer for any violation or contravention of provisions of the Act and rules. So what is a violation in relation to Section 12? That is a false statement being an incorrect statement being made, and an allottee purchasing on the basis of the statement made in an advertisement, and at a later date finding that there was a false statement in the advertisement. The advertisement also includes a model apartment. The kitchen dado tiles were shown to be of a design, and then when finally it gets finished, it is a plain white tile. That is also a misrepresentation of the false statement that is made in a model apartment, while model apartment, let's say an allottee has taken pictures of the model apartment, at a later date it is found that a different tile has been used. That can also be deemed to be a violation of the provisions of the Act, and the allottee gets a right. In case of adherence to sanction plan, the violation would be that after the plans are disclosed and an agreement, let's say an allottee has entered into an agreement, later on the promoter makes a modification to the sanction plan without taking consent of the allottee, if a change is being made in the apartment, or if a major change is being made without 2/3 consent. So these can be termed as violation, and an allottee gets a right to file a complaint under the Act, either seeking refund in case of veracity of advertisement, or in case of modification, seeking compensation for the loss that the allottee would accrue, or the estimated loss that the allottee would have accrued on account of the modification to the sanction plan without obtaining consent. So with this, I come to an end with these two topics. Basically, of course, the Act as I spoke earlier, aims at bringing transparency and also giving protection to the customers. But however, it also brings in certain discipline with the promoters when advertising for a project, when you advertise, how you advertise, what is it that you are going to state, and what is it that the brochures, we have seen earlier brochures would be so colorful that you are literally, it looks like you are being sold, what is being sold is heaven, but you may find that may not be the truth. So it also disciplines the promoters in terms of ensuring that what they advertise is what they actually deliver. So with this, we come to the end of today's webinar. I think I've covered the topic. Any questions that you may have, I'll be able to answer.
Sir, one question is in their chat box, sir. If the site supervisor is advertising the project is not registered with RERA without the knowledge of the builder, what action can be taken against him?
Against the site supervisor?
Yes, sir.
The site supervisor, it's the promoter's duty to take promoter has to take action. I don't know what action. This is beyond the purview of the site supervisor. How can he advertise the project without the knowledge of the builder? That cannot happen unless the builder is given them authority. So if this is being done, and if it comes to the knowledge of a regulatory authority or somebody, then it will be deemed that the builder has given consent, and action may be taken, and penalty can be levied under Section 59.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
So we are at the end of the session. Thank you, Suhail, sir, for sharing us such a wealth knowledge with us today on advertisements under RERA and adherence to sanction plans. Your detailed insights. We truly appreciate the time and expertise you have dedicated to helping us understand this important topic. I would now like to extend my sincere gratitude to everyone who made this session possible. To our speakers, Advocate E. Suhail Ahmed, for enlightening us with his experience and insights. To our attendants, special thanks for you for engagement throughout the session and interest in this topic. Your participation has enriched the session and demonstrates as a shared commitment. Thank you once again and have a wonderful day.